Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
That's what the people want.
I can't. I don't have the right mic. I can't do it.
And now, your handsome co-hosts, Boyd and Jay Money.
Is everybody in your house angry now? That's kind of what I want to know.
They're okay. Tonight, it's like a perfect night to do something like that. But all the listeners are probably very angry, especially.
I was going to say that was probably awful.
That was a lot. Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome. I don't know if anyone's even in the live. Oh, there's one eyeball. It says, welcome to the Boiled Sports Handsome Hour. You, the one viewer, I would like to welcome you. This is like when we first started doing this.
Of one.
Probably had like 1 or 1.5 people listening.
Yeah. So we could ask our one listener right now, how does Jay sound to you? That's most important.
Do I sound good? Do I sound
sounds like you're underwater. Just what you wanted to hear.
Does it really, Steve?
Yeah.
Underwater, you can hear me? Or Steve also says I'm living in 1984. I'm old, Steve. That's what that
there's
means.
no cord on that headset. You're not 1984. It looks like it's a cordless.
Yeah, it's a wireless headset. It's like for when I'm wheeling and dealing during the day.
Exactly. Big
I don't
money
have
millionaires.
I don't have time to pick up a phone. I just beep, and I just buy, sell.
Buy, sell. Yes. Yeah. You're from the International Space Station. It's great. I wonder am I really loud? Am I inordinately loud compared to you? Because I can adjust that a little bit. Everybody, let me know. It says I'm loud.
Why do we care how we sound?
Well, we should sound even, so people can.
When do we ever sound even, though? I mean,
well, I've tried to, not in person, but
right. Yeah. Right.
But if it's like, seriously, let me know. If I'm too loud, I'll turn my input a little bit. It's good. That's a nice vintage old-timey radio sound. And today's news.
They're calling in on the hotline. Look, everybody, if you paid attention last week, actually, my mic, I don't think it fell over during the show.
It fell over one time during the show.
So I don't have. I'm having issues with my mic stand because I got a new desk, a new setup, but I'm not going to let that stop me from sharing with you all my thoughts and brilliance.
Because you're a fighter, you're a champion.
I'm going to work through it. Also, I'm lazy and didn't get to fixing my mic stand yet, so we're trying something different.
Exactly.
If I get enough complaints, maybe I will. Either that or I'll dig in and I won't do it. I'll take the boiler down route, which would be no, I'm never fixing this.
Well, that's the one thing in life. It's really weird that I really want things to be right from a camera and mic stand.
You do.
A mic standpoint.
You're all set up, looks good. It always looks good, always sounds good. I'm very jealous of it because when I try to do, especially if I do the solos, which is rare, but when I do, I just look like I'm in a dark cave. I can't get this room lit correctly. That's why I have a ring light above me right now so you can see how good it all looks. It
does look good.
I shaved tonight. Had not shaved since Friday, I think, because I was out in God's country this weekend, and everyone knows you don't need to shave when you're in the Midwest.
No,
and
nobody cares.
Plus, I spend most of my days on Zoom, so you can't quite tell. I probably looked a little grody today, but in preparation for the show, I wanted to look my best. So
bring your A game. That's
absolutely.
Great. Yeah.
We are. Someone asks. Thaddeus asks, "Where's A Money?" How dare you? We will not call him that. He wouldn't want to be called that, and I don't appreciate that either. I don't know what that means. I guess you're saying that's the A Money. There's something brown. Is that what you're holding up? Yeah. That replaces a niche? Okay.
No,
gotcha.
That's not it. No. So the funny thing about that's great. The funny thing about the A Money thing, you may not even realize this. So you should probably encourage it. Is on one of my solo shows, somebody said they were going to start calling him A Money because he was reaching levels of money like yours. So the funny thing is, your nickname of J Money comes long before things were really cooking on the job side of things.
This I will continue to say this is a bit that you all have leaned into, and I have
Everybody loves it.
I've never validated any of this.
Yeah.
Everyone's fully leaned into this stupid bit. But
yeah,
J Money comes from my not being on the money generally. Everyone has those nicknames in college. We played a lot of basketball.
It's an old basketball.
Yes.
ironic nickname.
I mean, I could score sometimes.
Yeah, you were okay, but you and I weren't good shooters. I'd put myself in that same group. I wasn't a good shooter.
Yeah, no, my game was down low, and I didn't quite have the size to play. I was thick enough to play down low, but not.
Yeah, with our group, we had a couple. We had
a couple of big guys.
3 guys that were over 6'2".
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not, but
strong enough. Yeah.
For our group, I was a tall guy. So,
right.
It is the Handsome Hour. It is produced 2 and 3. Anish is not with us tonight. What's going on? What are you laughing at?
I just love Greg's comment it's not just because I know he's being tongue in cheek. The manifesting the money is hilarious to me. Anytime somebody talks that gibberish, makes me laugh. So yeah, exactly. Jay just spoke it into the universe and it happened. Exactly. Good job, Greg.
I just rise and grind every day, man.
That's right.
That's what makes it happen.
That's it. Those are 2 things. Positive thoughts and rise and grind.
I think we've talked about it in our group chat about the actually, I don't know how much I've talked to you about it.
Look at Handle coming with it.
Thick J money. Yeah. But that's always a not as thick as you, Handle. You bring the thick, exactly. The huggable thickness is there's a few folks in here that are the hug champions. So and I would say Handle's up there.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that people we always have to divert into something non-related to what we're supposed to talk about. But the people that are out there that are trying to always tell you that they like how they're super productive. They're like on LinkedIn or they're on like their Instagram reels, right? And they're like, I wake up at 4:00 and I work out and I listen. Yeah. There was one guy. I wish I could find it again. There's a guy who's like, I listen to a book on 2.5 speed. And then I do that. And it was just like
2.5.
It was one piece of bullshit after another. Like just so stupid. He's like, then my wife and I have alone time. I'm like, oh.
Alone time.
Right. He's like quality. It was something like code, right? Before the kids get up. I'm like, sure you do. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got there. But Anish is not joining us tonight. He's not committed. I don't know what else to say. This is like one of those press conferences where this is like a Dan Franklin press conference where you're going to talk about all the things that everybody else did wrong, and at the end go, but it's
your fault.
But it's my responsibility.
That's the right thing to do.
That guy. Let's start there because I feel like it. He is such a turd. That was the description I sent to you guys. Anyone who throws out a bunch of things about what his team did wrong and how they weren't prepared and how the travel and blah 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 throws out a bunch of excuses. Like I do love all the jokes that ran around that people saying, well, he didn't lose to another top 10 team. That's true. That record is still safe. It hasn't gotten worse.
Congrats, James.
I believe I saw another good one that said that both he and UCLA have the same number of wins over Power 4 teams this year. So that's nice. I'm not even sure if they do because they beat, what is it? Old Dominion, Villanova, and someone else terrible. And everyone looked at that schedule.
There's another one on top of those 2?
They had 3 nonsense games. They had the worst opening schedule. They have the weakest strength. I mean, the Oregon game helps them, but
need to be inversed, and I seem to have a similar idea.
What's that?
Need to be inversed, and 9 o'clock to 9:02 is alone time.
That's right. That's all you need. You're efficient.
Exactly. Everybody's happy.
Greg McManus says his brain does 1.3 podcasts. This is a topic we shouldn't be talking about without Anish here because he and his insane brother listen to stuff
nuts
at like 2.5 speed. Now, I'm not making that up.
And
I listen to most stuff now at 1.5. If it's a slow speaker, I'll do 1 3/4. If it's like a really slow, some narrators are. I don't know how people do 2.5. I can't retain any of it. It just starts to like blur in my head. But
I think the Apple podcast, that 1.3 is their first notch up. That's what I use too. Because I've used 1.3, and I don't know if it's Apple or if it's YouTube, but I've used that one. I try to bump it up, and I'm like, moving too fast. I can't do it. I'm just like you.
Steve comes with his last one. He claims it's his last one, but we're only a few minutes in, Steve. So he feels like he's listening to a Jackie Robinson highlight video.
Here's the pitch.
And this young man is quite talented out of Brooklyn. They always kept talking that clipped super fast speed. It's like they were on 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow they were sped up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Why? When did broadcasters stop doing? Because like Vin Scully was broadcasting until like 7 or 8 years ago, and he never talked like that.
No,
He was great, and he did it for 67 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, Penn State is garbage. I cannot ever see Penn State lose enough. Let me just say that here. They can never lose enough. And I know we're not going to go into the whole, like, why Penn State is a garbage athletic department and that the fans that defended everything are garbage. Right. But
their fans said to look the other way.
Quite honestly, should have been expelled from the Big Ten. That's what should have happened.
Yep.
And they weren't. And so now they can, and we talked about this a little bit last week. I said to Anish, I knew he would like this because he likes the coaching tiers. I do feel like he's attained a weird tier of they can't fire a guy who wins 11 games like every other year, but somehow is disappointing. It's incredible. It's such a cool place that he's found where, and the other thing I'll credit Anish with this, he said, Penn State's the best job he can get, and he's probably the best guy that Penn State can get. That's a really good take because who's going to go there? Who would they?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. If you pay a guy one of those, $100 million 10-year that's the thing. You may pay a $100 million 8-year contract to somebody, they'll come to Penn State.
Oh,
and
sure.
You can bring a name, and Penn State has deep coffers. They could do it.
I don't mean could you get someone to come there? I mean,
right.
Who's going to win more games? And
it's going to take a truly elite coach. You can't mess around.
Right.
You can't go get a coordinator, especially after you fire him. Right. I don't think there's a bunch of Penn State guys waiting in the wings. I don't think that happens either. So it's a tough position they've got themselves in. And I'm not sad about it.
Handel's here, and he's not always here right away early in the show. Usually he's sending his comments just to you. Tom Skipper, UCLA's interim coach, has as many career top 10 wins as James Franklin. I'm not sure if that's – I think Franklin might have – does he have one? He might just have one. I think he's 1-10 against the top 10. I think that
is awesome. When Handel brings stats, he's generally right. He doesn't mess around. He's not like me saying, I think I heard this maybe someplace.
So it was weird because this weekend was definitely a lighter slate. There weren't as many good games, but that was exciting. That was fun to see happen. UCLA, good for you, UCLA. I think one of the funnier byproducts was that there were like 14 fans there. So when they rushed the field, it just looked like the normal end of game, like people out on the field.
just personnel.
Right, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It wasn't even covering the grass. They rushed the field, and it was like security.
I made the joke that you and I love to make. Look at all the fan, how happy they are on Twitter.
Well, I also heard someone.
They've got the plastic bags over seats in that place.
Yeah. Well, I saw someone make a great point that UCLA is one of those. Yeah, they get to play in the Rose Bowl, but that's not near campus. So
right.
So it's not like because this has happened over the years when programs aren't very good. Something good has happened at halftime, and the fans come to the stadium. But that really can't happen in LA. You're not going to drive from Westwood to Pasadena.
Right.
You're not going to get there. So that couldn't happen.
What's the drive? Or I'm sure they have shuttle buses and things for the students.
I'm sure they do, but
I don't know how long it is. I really don't.
Not continuously during the game. Hey, do you want to come for the third quarter?
Want to come second?
Meet at 2:00 if you'd like to see the second half.
Would the tickets get cheaper or more expensive as the thing? Because I would think they would rise. The prices would rise because the game's getting better.
I have to think they just let you in.
Maybe the bus gets cheaper as the ticket prices rise.
Wow, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Get them there. They got no choice to pay to get in.
Right.
Someone already asked, and I'll bring this one up before I lose track of it. Adam, so he actually asked a pertinent Purdue question. He says, does Minnesota's showing against OSU give us some realistic hope? I'll just say I don't think that what anyone really does against Ohio State has any real bearing on.
Ohio State beat them as badly as they've beaten anybody but what was it, Grambling, or who did they beat somebody really badly, really, really badly. Week 2, I think. I haven't looked at Ohio State's schedule, but I think they beat Minnesota's. They've had some games where you're like, kind of a okay game, but that they really drubbed Minnesota. I mean, there's a lot of things. If you want to get hope, there's a lot of things that could give you hope if you just look statistically, and I have at Minnesota, and you look at their best win was 31-28 over Rutgers.
Yeah. Oh, I think. So if you're asking, could you be optimistic? This is one of those seasons where, you can talk yourself into stuff every week, right?
Sure.
Just like we all did about Illinois. And I think Purdue did, and we'll talk about this, Odom being very clearly pissed off at the performance. But man. I think Illinois is not very good. I think we kind of realized after they got just pummeled by Indiana, they're not very good. They got to play Ohio State this week. It's going to be a ranked matchup, and man, is that going to be ugly. They're going to get their asses kicked for the second time this year. But they have an identity. They're pretty well coached. They didn't panic. They have an older quarterback, right? So they didn't make very many mistakes. They didn't make any mistakes really, right? Illinois. So, but if you want to look at it like Purdue lost by 16, right? That's 2 touchdowns. If you want to, it's still within 2 scores, right? In the entire second half, and you made this point after that dreadful second quarter, they did continue to fight. They did continue to keep it. And a couple points, they had it inside of 16 in the second half. Didn't they have it at like 12 or 11?
Down to
31-20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the game was not like ever out of hand. And what I was saying to everybody, you guys and everyone else, all I would have asked for this past Saturday was for the secondary to play a mediocre game. A mediocre game. Right? Because the front actually did some run stopping. They held them. They made them punt 3 times. Right? All the stuff we all have been asking for, they're incrementally getting a little better. And we said this throughout the season, a well-coached team that was getting to know each other early in the season, you're going to see little things get better. The offense didn't do anything that we thought, oh, that was awful. Like they scored. Here's the other statement I kept making over the weekend. They scored 4 touchdowns. Okay? 4 touchdowns in a Big Ten game should be enough to be in that game, maybe win it, right? 4 touchdowns? No? I mean, last year's team wasn't putting up 4 touchdowns. And the other point you made that I would like to reiterate here is
it should be a last possession game to me.
Right. Or you're down by 7-10 at worst. Right. Not 2 big touchdowns, 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
But you made this point that second quarter, even though it's not something you want to excuse, last year's team, what would have been? I think they would have lost the game
folded.
by 40.
Absolutely folded.
I think they absolutely, and Purdue scored late in the second quarter. They had the long touchdown down the side. They scored and then immediately gave up a field goal. If they didn't do that, it's 24-14 at the half.
Yeah. Right?
Which for as bad a quarter as that was, wouldn't have been so bad. And I don't know what's going on my thing. There we go. I'm back to focus. I just think you're seeing things that you can say, yeah, I'm seeing incremental things here and there. But for all the things that stepped forward, the secondary took a step back. Now, you've also made the point that they were missing some senior guys, some older guys. And those guys haven't played great this year, but there's a certain amount of like continuity. And if you assume they're going to get a little bit better, starting guys who I don't think played much this year and clearly didn't totally know their assignments. The thing that drove me nuts was Purdue was trying to, like, and again, tell me if I'm oversimplifying this, but when your secondary looks like that, just play man. Just line up. Everybody take a man.
It's a great point. And and I said that in the comments that because somebody talked about the problem is it's not so much man or zone. It's so you transition from looks during like what you're trying to disguise. And so that Purdue may have gotten a little bit too cute, making it look like man, but it's actually zone. So you have to hand things off from one guy to the next. And during a zone, you have to, you hand the guy from one to the next. So if there's somebody underneath, you've got to pick somebody else up. Instead, they just would leave the dude, and then the next guy would leave the guy too. And so you'd just have nobody on him or running into each other like Keystone Cops.
But some of those receptions were, I said they looked like fair catches almost. Like the receiver was so open, he could just sit there and wait and gather it in and then still burn away from the guys. Like either you let him get the big gain, but you tackle him. Yeah. Or you don't leave him be that wide open, but you can't do both. You can't let him be so wide open and then get beat.
Yeah. Hey, Matt has a very good question before we go any further. Can you switch your camera to black and white? Because it's already like going funny anyway. So that'd be great if you could. I
think he's correlating it with my audio.
Oh, he is. But I like the fact that you've got the whole thing going right now. It's a little grainy.
He says he's listening. It's like he's listening. The noodle says it's like he's listening to a Larry King interview, someone in his old overnight radio show. Yeah. Yeah. And Brandon says, did my equipment come from the 1950s? Let it all out, guys. Let it all out.
Yeah, let him. He's got big shoulders. He can take it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So getting back to the question of whether you should feel anything about this weekend against Minnesota, I mean, I think they're going to fight again. One thing I now believe about these Odom teams is that they're going to fight. And on that subject, I watched his pressers back to back, the one from yesterday and the one from today. And I can't actually remember. I think it was yesterday's or Saturday's after the game. He was asked, "Did you like the fight you saw in the second half, despite that quarter?" Kind of what everyone was thinking. And he gave a great answer. He almost got a little wound up, and then he said, "I respect your question," which shows
he had an answer quickly. I love
that.
Well,
but he caught himself from going after the question asker, because he understands the mentality of where Purdue's program is. And he said, guys, in a competitive situation, athletics, competing and working hard and trying, that's like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, does he like their fight? Sure, but that's the bare minimum. He doesn't accept. There's no less.
I loved his answer. It was That was one of the such old school things he said, right? Where he's like, yeah, because he talked about these guys are all supposed to be competing every down, right? Is that the same answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he's right. And it's a very old fashioned way of looking at things. It's the absolute right way of looking at things.
But don't you think that
they shouldn't have to give kids M&Ms to try hard?
Well, don't you think that speaks to where this program fell to last year?
Yes.
Where the fans and even the media are saying, "Hey, are you happy they didn't roll over?" And I don't blame the question at all, because that is where things got to. Where are you glad they
worse than that? I mean, it was much worse than rolling over after a bad quarter. I mean, guys would roll over. The team would roll over down 14-0 in the first. Like, tons of gameplay left. They did it over and over and over. You knew the game was toast when they did it. When they were down 2 scores in the first quarter, every time they were done. Not 27 points in the second quarter, which is an absolute thrashing. That's an awful quarter, and it was totally on the wings of a. I mean, you had everything. You had a turnover that killed a drive, and then you had 2 awful plays defensively in the defensive backfield, and so they say they played their worst quarter by far. I think, we all hung out at the half. Jay and I were, in person. We got to see Ben and we saw somebody else came by, Brock, right? Yeah. So and Anish, and we all talked about, kind of quickly compared notes, and that was an old school Walters type quarter. And so the good news is they didn't have an old school Walters type third quarter. So
right.
They could have. So yeah. So let's move on, because I mean, I don't know if you want to talk to Illinois more, that's fine. I understand, but I kind of don't.
I got you. That's fine.
So
let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. So Minnesota. Let's talk about Minnesota. All right. Is there reason to have hope? Yes, there is reason to have hope. And I said it before. Their best win was over Rutgers. But here, let me give you some other stats. The one that's going to discourage you, Purdue fans, is this one. There's one that's really not good. If you haven't watched Minnesota, this sounds like typical Coach Tight Pants, PJ Fleck defense. 5th in total defense yards allowed. Okay. So that's a good stat. Okay. But here, how do you do this? I don't even know how you do this, but they're 12th in points allowed. Mm-hmm. So this is
in the conference?
Yeah, it's in conference.
Okay.
It's in conference. Yeah, it's not nationally. No, they don't. No, this isn't. So here's the thing. Minnesota has some things they like to do, and I think Coach Odom would like to do those things as well. I think that's, if we would say, I think Odom is much more willing to have an offensive coordinator that reaches into the playbook and obviously can sling and have a quarterback slings the ball. You've seen it this year. I'll talk about here in a second, perception versus reality about the Purdue team statistically, because I had some very good questions in the comments after my post game that I wanted to address. So Minnesota, though, they want to be able to stop pretty much everything, and they'll play a boring style, keep a game close, and just win it close at the end. That's what they've done for the last few years, and it works. Okay. Here on the other side of the ball, here's the problem. Okay. If you've watched Minnesota, you probably know this already. All right. They are 13th in yards per game, and they are 15th in points scored a game. This is not a very good offense. This is not a very good team. You talk about reasons to hope. They are exactly what they look like when you watch them. There really isn't a veneer here. There isn't something that you're like, oh, this is part of what they'd like to do. They just don't have much of an identity, I would say. Do you agree with that? I know you haven't watched whole games of Minnesota, but you've watched
I haven't.
a couple. Have you watched them like just flipping around on in
Yeah.
their early games or anything, or the Rutgers game? I know you're a big Rutgers guy because you're in the state.
I don't miss a Rutgers game. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
You're just a huge Scarlet Knight guy.
I am. Yeah, I think that's a fair take, but that also alarms me a little because they're going to look at this game too, like, well, if there's a chance of a win. There's a chance for us to be 4-2. And they should feel that
he's
way.
a good coach. That's the thing, that we can all dislike Peach as much as we want, and I do. But he's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's a solid coach. He understands how to get teams to play really good defense, how to protect. Generally, they have game managers playing quarterback. They don't do anything too flashy, and generally they have a very good running back. But they're not a. It's not a great version of Minnesota here. That's all. So.
Right, and he's in, what is he in, 9th year? And you talk about being a good coach, like 9 years, pretty steady. Never.
And he's not 9 years because he's at. I'm trying to think of a mediocre program that's allowed a coach to stick
like
around.
Like a MAC school where they just would be
it's
like,
not that. They're good. They're good. They go to bowls. They beat good teams. They play a solid brand of football. I'll give PJ Fleck all the credit in the world there. And I can still dislike him. This is the thing. We can do that. We can do both. This is in the internet age, in the social networking age. It's always, well, how can you do this? We can do all that. We can totally chew and chew gum and walk at the same time, and even skip. You can say you don't like PJ Fleck, and he's a good coach at the same time. So
yeah, and the other thing in the current age is, like, maybe more than ever, everyone looks at the most recent week and is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, they just got smoked, so everyone's like, ooh, there's a chance. And there's definitely a chance. But they got smoked by Ohio State, who, as you said, is Ohio State. The fact that they didn't lose that first game against Texas when they had a quarterback starting for the first time, and right, like Ohio State's only getting better, right? So meeting them later in the year, like James Franklin has to do, that doesn't bode well for teams that have to play them soon, like Illinois this weekend, like Minnesota last weekend. I think that's only going to get more. They're only going to get more dominant. So it's when you play them, right? So I do think, I talked a little bit about how, and I'll talk a little more about it, is that Odom was very visibly annoyed, apologetic to the fans for the performance and he didn't single out. He did single out a few things, but he talked about everything. Coaches need to be better. Players need to be better. That was not a good performance. He just started out with, he was very disappointed, clearly, which says to me that he sees every game as a chance to win. He really does.
I think he saw this game as pivotal as the fans did. Like, in his preseason pressers, he talked a lot about we're not doing a rebuild here. We want to. I think his whole thing is he wanted to get 6 wins, get to a bowl, and I don't think he thought it was just a dream to get there based on what he had seen. Mm-hmm. And so just as you guys were all affected by it, because I think almost every Purdue fan I know was like, okay, this is a game that you can kind of show a little bit something more. That second quarter just ruined all chances of that happening, and he knew that. He was, I just can't. He was just visibly pissed off, and and I love seeing it. To tell you the truth, so.
And he didn't seem a lot less angry today. In his presser today, he was more calm, but he was still very bothered by what they saw, by what happened.
So I had an interesting question posed to me in the comments. I'd like to talk to you about this. I don't know if you read the comments. I had my brother sent me a text message about comments in after the postgame, which is interesting. He never does that. One of them annoyed him. That's okay, and it annoyed me too. But there was a very good question in there, and it was regarding Ryan Brown and his play. Mm-hmm. And I think as Purdue fans, what we want, expect, or think that creates a good football team, a good Purdue football team specifically, is quarterback play. And there's the good quarterbacks at Purdue. We know what good quarterback play looks like, and we know that it's like set the world on fire, good quarterback play. So like, okay, good isn't something really we're all that interested in. We're like, okay, we want to see Kyle Orton or Drew Brees or, Mark Campbell, we want to see fireworks and explosions and slinging around the yard. And so someone said, is he is he really that good of a quarterback? So let me explain to you why I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Okay, so in total yards, wait, no, that's wrong. Points rush. Okay, so Purdue is 14th in points per game. That's one. That's a stat that I think we all know. They don't score very much. Okay,
that surprises me though.
It surprised me. It surprised me too. Actually,
they put up points. They put up points.
They have put up points, but I think as they were putting up points versus the bad opponents versus the mediocre opponents in the
other
early
teams are
season,
putting up like 60 instead of 38 or 31 or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So that might be something that Purdue finds their way towards 12th or 11th, right? As the season goes on. But here's the thing that he's a good quarterback. Okay. I think I didn't look his percentage up for the season, but I think he's completing like 61% on the season. But he's 4th in pass yards a game in the conference. Okay. And I don't think that's out of panic. I think I haven't really gotten that from Purdue where you look like, oh man, now they're turning up the pace because they're down. No, they're playing the same game the whole game. The same, they're approaching the game the same way. The play calling is the same way. Rush yards per game in the conference, it's real bad. And it's a shame because we saw this last game, a version of Purdue that I think we all wanted to see where they established the run. Really interesting thing Golden Black does on Monday. They have this deep analytics thing. I don't even know how they get these numbers, but Joey Tanona, according to Golden Black's deep analytics, they're just regurgitating an outside service saying who was the guy who graded the highest. And Joey Tanona graded the highest of, I think, all the offensive linemen, just of the style of play. And I kind of thought he would do that. And that might be what we're seeing is that guys are starting to find their spot. Like the interesting thing is St. John, right? He was out with injury early in that game. So that really should have hurt the offensive line, but they were still able to run the ball. But 16th best in the conference is kind of unacceptable.
Especially what is that, rushing?
In rushing, yeah. When you have a back like Maccabee, and I think everybody expected more than that. On the other side of the ball, Purdue is they're just dismal. Defensively, 16th in points allowed, 18th in total yards allowed. Just awful, as bad as we thought they were, right? And it's kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing when the stats match your feelings, when there are these feelings or these, whatever. It just, that stuff, it pissed me off a little bit to see it. I'm sure that stuff makes Coach Odom mad because he's like, man, we haven't turned the corner yet that I think we're going to. So, yeah.
Well, but I also say, and we talk about turning the corner, or we talk about things that get incrementally better. As you said that, I just brought it up because I knew the numbers, aggregate numbers for rushing were not bad. They had 25 rushes for 151, 6 yards a rush, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Yeah.
150 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. This is what I'm saying. Like, you need, and you talked about this on the post game too, that it is believable that they could put all that together for a game. Now, to me, the question is, do they put all that together against the Minnesota or Northwestern or Rutgers or someone where it's like, it definitely gets you a win? Or do they unfortunately put it together against like, Michigan or somebody where they lose 45-42 or something like that? But I guess
I've shifted my gaze a little bit and looking at the latter part of the season, and based on what we know right now, and I this might be crazy talk for everybody out there. I don't care. Just based on what I've seen, I think there are winnable games in the second half of the season, the final third of the season. Huh? Yeah.
Ooh, yep. Hot take.
It's a hot take, but I'm going to stand on it. Stand on business. So someone asked a very good question, maybe the most important question. Joe Inslee asks, inquiring minds want to know, did the Beat-Out family make it to AJ's this week? So yes and no. When you say the Beat-Out family, it was a different version.
He said, no, I'll bring it up so you can see.
Okay, sorry.
Did Boiler Dad finally?
Oh, I was looking at.
He did.
Wrong. I did. And guess what? We all made it. That's the cool thing. Anish, Jay, and I were all at AJ's, and Brandon Alexander, who's in the comments as well, was there too, saying he made it to AJ's as well. And that was kind of fun. So it was really fun to. It's always good to put a face to the name, to someone you've been interacting with for a while. So that's really cool. But what did you get, Anish, at AJ's?
I don't have the cricket noises uploaded, unfortunately. It's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. What you you had a special thing at the AJ's.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
I thought you were making a joke there because you said, "What did you get at Niche?"
No. I said at AJ's. No.
No, we
What did
got
you
the.
get at AJ's?
Well, I got some of my usual, but we also got some wings, and
This is special.
well, we got a half, we got the 20, and we got half buffalo and half ghost pepper. And let me tell you, when you have ghost pepper wings, and then you have them again later in the evening, and you forget that you didn't wash your hands really well, I guess.
Oh no. Oh no.
I was like,
Did you do that?
No, I touched my eyes.
Oh.
And I was like, why are my eyes stinging so badly? And finally, Anish had to say to me, did you wash your hands really well after you had those ghost pepper wings?
It's like your mommy telling you.
Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah. So we had a good conversation with Adam from AJ's about the methodology when you decide on the recipe of sauce you're going to use that's a ghost pepper sauce. And he said they wanted something that was really flavorful, not just hot. And
Yes.
I think they were successul. You
They're
would
good.
agree, right? Yeah.
They were good. They
Yep.
were good. And they also seem to be the kind of wings that I had them at AJ's, and I was like, yeah, they're fine. They're not hot. They're not, ghost pepper to me is like risky, right? And when I had them later,
totally.
the leftovers, man, they seemed hotter then. Maybe because I was rubbing them in my eyes too. I don't know.
Does it have when you leave the store, do they put a little warning? Hey, morons, don't rub your eyes. It might hurt.
They don't, and I fault them.
That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you do that, Adam?
Yeah. Put a little warning on there not to put this dust near your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. That's it's not very good. So here's the thing. In an effort to try to eat something healthy, because I ate really unhealthy at the tailgate in the morning, I had two different types of breakfast sandwich. I had a breakfast empanada with sausage, egg, and cheese made by my brother. And then one of the players' dads who tailgates near us brought over a handful of breakfast burritos he was just trying to unload. And so I had one of those as well, just because I'm a giver, really is the main reason.
Right.
It's rude to say no. Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. What they made was awesome. Both were very good. So I had junk food for breakfast, and I also had, because I had donut holes, churro donut holes, which were very good, and I had a mixed drink that was kind of on the fly. I had some apple whiskey, some cinnamon vodka, and a splash of fizzy stuff.
I don't think any of this counts on a football Saturday.
No, it's right. None of the calories matter. But
you're walking to and from the stadium.
So I went light at AJ's, and I got a gyro and waffle fries, and I always dip them in the Chipotle ranch, which is amazing.
I like that a gyro and fries and ranch is going light.
It was light, yeah. And then I ordered this was the unkindest cut of all. I ordered the what do they call them? They call them funnel cake fries, funnel fries. Because I love them. And I order them and I walk away to talk to you jerks. Mm-hmm. And then I come back to the table and my nephew's eating all of them. And my brother said, we didn't get any. And I was like, well, neither did I. Jerk. Teenagers are the worst. They eat everything.
Oh, they're locusts.
Yes, exactly. They descend quickly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, so that is a good smooth mention of one of our favorite sponsors, AJ's. eataj's.com. Head towards the fire station, turn left after or before a Purdue game.
My older brother thinks I tell you guys to head towards any fire station. That's not what I say. It's the fire station on campus.
Yeah. Go to AJ's.
Not any. You can't go to the fire station in Fishers and turn left. That doesn't work.
You could, but I don't know.
You could. You'll get there eventually. We always say that.
Right.
You may have to circle the earth many, many times, but you'll get there eventually. So Ryan Lewis says I definitely called you a niche, so I can understand.
Sounded like you said, "What did you get a niche?" Is what it sounded like. I thought you were making a joke that he's not here.
That's funny.
So I like that. I went with it.
No, I don't know what I did then. So I haven't drank that much bourbon to be the point where I can't tell you guys apart. So
we're very similar.
Exactly.
Rob White, just since we're on the subject of not touching things, he said, I learned a valuable lesson with washing your hands after using icy hot as a teenager. Can't scratch certain places.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's an old costly locker room. That's an old locker room prank. Did you put icy hot in somebody's jockstrap?
Oh, it's bad. And
hockey players do that. It's mean.
It
it's
is
so
mean.
mean. Because that
And
doesn't
it
go
works.
away.
Right.
Oh man.
It's a petroleum goo, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see it,
yeah. It's hard to. It's like right. Imagine
like
getting
Vaseline
Vaseline off of yourself, except that it's burning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Not so great. Yeah. So so after we've talked about statistics, Jay, because you didn't get to pre-show the statistics that I gave you there. How do you feel about the game looking ahead to Minnesota?
I'm excited about it. What I said at the start of this year, I will go back to what I said, which was I think they're still going to that loss this weekend was exactly what I told you was going to happen. I said they're going to lose some games this year where they lost, but they're going to lose by a couple touchdowns. And in fact, I think I gave a score like 40 something to 20 something. I think that's a lot different than 66-7, right? That's a lot different, right? Right. I said they're still not going to be that good. They're going to win a couple games. They're going to win maybe more than a couple games, but they're going to have losses. But the losses are still going to give you something to be hopeful about. And so, as much as Barry Odom was mad and there's things to be frustrated about, I think that has come true. That there are things in every game. I don't think any of us were ready to leave in the third quarter.
No,
I think you thought you're hoping something that hasn't happened. It was going to happen, like a pick six or something. But if you get a defensive score, if you get them to muff a punt, if you get a stop, they were getting some stops here and there. So so what do I think? What does it make me think about? I think Minnesota is vulnerable. Yeah, as we've already talked about.
It's got to be their homecoming. I would think it would be. That would make sense, right?
Probably, right? Mid-October.
I mean, everybody's scheduled Purdue's homecoming right now. We're there.
I don't know. Is that true?
I would think so. Yeah. The last 2 years were pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, I just think that it's going to be one of those games.
That schedule goes back years, right? Doesn't it? It does, right?
Yeah, it's usually figured out.
Well, the away games or the non-con games are figured out years ahead. I really don't know the answer about in-con. Like, do they make a request? Hey, Big Ten, could we put Purdue on their homecoming circuit?
Well, I think you can make homecoming any weekend you want. So you can, during the summer, say this is going to be.
After they look at after it's all in front of them.
Yeah, you say, ooh, that one will be good. Yeah. But I think it's going to be one of those games where, and this is true every week, but I think especially when it's these two teams like this, it's going to depend who's sharp that Saturday, right? Like if one of these teams comes out flat or makes a lot of mistakes, that's going to be it, right? Yeah. I think whoever makes the fewest mistakes when you've got two teams that aren't really that good, that's kind of what will determine it. And we've talked about this many times over the years, like the difference in your statistical chances of winning when you have when you win turnover battles or you get defensive scores.
Yeah.
Like, even though Purdue, people kept pointing to that, like they actually held them on fourth down and then muffed the punt. But one thing to remember there is Purdue then held them again just to a field goal. So that, yes, it was kind of crushing in the sense that, man, you actually held them and you're getting the ball back and then you gave it right back to them. So it's still a negative 3 point, maybe a bigger swing because maybe that drive you could have scored, right? So maybe it's a 10-point swing there. That is huge. And that's why those mistakes and turnovers and defensive scores and all that kind of stuff is just absolutely killer. So you have to, they're starting to clean it up. The offense is not making huge mistakes, as I said. So I don't know. How do I feel about it? I'm going to be excited to watch. People care. And someone says that, Carl says the fact that the fans are frustrated is better than last year when literally no one cared. I don't know that no one cared last year because the stadium was still pretty full, given how bad that team was. So I think people care.
That Notre Dame game was a pretty good punch in the gut. I mean, even the Oregon State game, I think, had a lot of Purdue fans pretty sobered up. I know that got you.
Yeah.
That Oregon State game really got your attention, not in a good way. And the Notre Dame game, I mean, we were talking at halftime in person. That was historically horrible. But I think I was more negative than like anybody I know after the Notre Dame game. I mean, I was really, really pissed off after
it. Changed my plans for the season, so I was pretty upset.
Right.
I came to fewer games than I had planned to because I saw the wheels were off. And
that's the thing. You guys don't realize this. Anish and Jay get season tickets, and they are a long way away. And so this is like, it affects. I had a great. Let me sidebar this for a second. Okay, so I had somebody ask me about being a Purdue fan, or like things you do, or your habits, that sort of thing. And I said to my wife, I was like, I don't even know what I'd do in the fall if I didn't have Purdue like built in. Like,
Wait,
I know we've talked about this on bad seasons, like back when, when the Hope Hazel malaise was really deep, right?
yeah.
It was different.
You were still going though.
Still going. Yeah. But for you, I mean, like, this is the thing. You look at the schedule and you're like, okay, this one looks good, this one looks good, this one looks good. And then you plan, okay, I'm gonna make the trek. Either I'm gonna fly here or I'm gonna drive. And I know you're not alone. We have a couple of friends that we've met through the site that come a long way for games. And we had a good buddy named Ed who's down in Houston. He would come to games from Houston regularly, and I think now he really saves that for basketball. But it's a really interesting thing. I hope the athletic department understands that Jay and Anish and Ed are not alone. These are
Right.
people that like really, really, I mean, it's one thing for me to say, I really want to see Purdue win and I live an hour away and big damn
Right.
deal, because I'm probably going to come anyway, like you said. But you guys, I mean, you spend a lot of money and then you spend money there. It's tough on the businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've said for years, all that anybody wants is something to be excited about. Competition, competitive games, something to be excited about. Not having the shout, which we all love, shout, but not having that be literally a joke. Being down by 40 or 50 points and having
Exactly.
to pretend like, oh, one thing I've noticed they've done this year, they're not having anyone lead it. They're not bringing someone in. I feel like that's a result of the last 2 years of games where you'd have some Purdue guy come back and be like, and they have to say something like, well, it's not over yet, Purdue fans. Let's shout.
Well, you know what could have done it is some of those guys who are ex-players
Saying,
just being hammered when they were already stick a fork in them, right? They didn't care about the game at that point because that happened a couple times last year, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
So, yeah, that's a big deal. So, it was Hammer Down Cancer Weekend.
Yes.
I had a weird interaction with somebody on Twitter that I butchered, I think, but they said, imagine being a program veteran, meaning football veteran, coming in, being honorary captain, and the team doing what they did on Saturday. And all I could think of was the kid that was honorary captain, the little guy in the wheelchair. And I said, I think he had a great time. That's, and then I was like, wait a second, she's talking about the team honorary captain. But the kid there, man, that stuff was really cool. That's cool to see for me every time.
Yeah.
I mean, his face was lit up.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool. I think that's a cool moment. I know I'm a sap for stuff, especially with kids that are, like
going through it. Yeah.
Going through it. Yeah. And I know it's an easy thing for Purdue to do. I'm glad they did it. So the guy who was the honorary captain, I honestly don't know. I don't know his name. So I would bet, though, he's an older guy. I would bet he also had a pretty great day. I would just think. Like, I don't mean to be a smart aleck here, but he was honored. I know that Golden Black talked to him about something about he had a couple great stories to tell, and that's cool. But it wasn't like, I don't think this team rolled over. I think that would matter to anybody that came in there. It wasn't like they came in there and they didn't have any fight. They just had a shitty quarter,
Yes.
So
yeah. 27 points is a lot in a quarter.
I got to do better about my language, by the way, Jay.
I agree.
You're better at this than I am.
I agree. Bigger words. Words. Oh,
exactly.
You don't. Oh,
exactly.
Word of the day calendar.
Exactly. Yeah. Something. Anything. No, I met a guy that his son said he listens to the show and he's a little guy. So.
Oh, you're talking about the guy we met at AJ's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam.
His son was little.
He was
like
guy.
He was
6,
like what
5
6 maybe.
Yeah.
And he saw me in a niche and he's like, "Where's the other guy?" I might have said, "Where's the loud guy?" He might have actually said that.
That's great. Yeah.
And
he's
then
a
you
good
get to meet
fan,
him in
though.
person.
He's a good fan. He's totally brainwashed thanks to his dad, Adam. So,
good work.
Yeah.
Adam.
Good work. You've done the same thing to your boy that we've done to ours. So, and we're all, there's stages of this. My son is so deep in it. He's at the school. Your son is thinking about coming to the school.
Oh man. I remember when Travis Miller of Hammer and Rails fame had a kid. I remember you talking to him on one of our shows and saying, "You have a choice right now. You can diverge right now from what we did." And that guy Adam's son, he's already, but it's still early.
There's
Still early.
There's still a chance.
You could steer them away.
You have fighting chance here. So,
I mean, you know, but where do you send them? Do you say Texas? I don't know.
That's the thing. It's got to be, if you're like me, I'm like, and I literally said to my kids multiple times, I was like, hey, if you get accepted to IU or Notre Dame, somebody else wants you to. So you can go another place.
You know, this brings up an interesting conversation that we've had in our house because my wife likes to play that stupid game and be like, you know,
well, what if?
Like, yeah, what if you got a full ride?
Nobody makes you apply to a place, by the way. Nobody.
Exactly. But you know what her thing is she doesn't believe that I would refuse to wear Notre Dame or Indiana.
Oh, I do.
Apparel, even if my kid was there. And I said, there's only a couple that I would refuse. If my kid was somewhere, I'd be proud of it, right? I'd be proud of him. And yeah, there's a couple that I would, and he understands that already. He fully gets it. And I don't think I ever said this on the show. Maybe I did. If I did, too bad. One of my favorite examples of this was when Glenn Robinson's son was at Michigan.
Yep. And
they'd show Glenn in the crowd. He never once had a Michigan logo on.
That's awesome.
I think the furthest he ever went is he wore like a navy blue, like long sleeve, but he never wore the logo. You think a guy who played against the Fab Five is going to wear a Michigan logo? Exactly. And I love him for that.
Those were his recruiting nemesis.
But that to me right there is perfect. He was there to support his kid. He was there in the stands, proud of his son. Not wearing that shit. Yeah. And that's awesome. And that's exactly, and that's okay. That's fine. But yeah, no one makes you apply somewhere. You don't have to apply to a school that you don't like. Is not liking a school because you've rooted against them your whole life a reason to not go there? Probably not. But we do all sorts of weird things. We make all weird decisions for all sorts of weird reasons. So
well, what's your motivation for not like? I don't like any but other school. I mean, that's the thing. You guys know this. You're not that bad. You're not as bad as I am. So
no, but
every now and again, when I like somebody, it's just a matter of time before I find a reason not to like that other team or that other coach or whoever. You're better about that than I am. You're more logical.
Well, I think if your son wound up at Florida or Texas or Texas A&M
I'd probably be okay with that.
You'd wear a shirt.
I got nothing against
right. That's my point. Yeah. There are some that you'd go, yeah, sure. UCLA. You'd be like, proud of you. Good job.
Well, the funny thing, here's a program I do not like. I do not like Tennessee because I've been around their fans enough in person at different games. Okay, basketball and football. I've been at both. Guess what I did? I said when LBD was applying to schools, I knew the SEC recruited our county heavily for academic things. I said apply there. Because I knew it's a decent school. I have friends that have graduated from there. So I said, apply there. He said, you hate that place. I said, it doesn't matter. I want you to apply there. See what they give you. So, and he didn't have to do much to get scholarship money from them. And guess what he did? He said, no, thanks. Attaboy. Attaboy. He too was at he was sitting next to me at the Purdue Tennessee game in Louisville when these yokels were sitting next to us talking trash to him. Not to me. They were talking to the kid. And he was 14, 12 at that point?
Not much raises my blood pressure like somebody confronting my wife or my son.
Oh man, no kidding.
Like if it's good natured and you're just trying to make them laugh, totally fine. I appreciate that. That is funny. Give him some shit. That's fine. Give him because he needs that in life. Yeah. But people who try to, no.
Not cool.
I'm a very friendly, lovable person, but not in those situations.
Right.
We got a couple comments on this. Greg says, my son visited Illinois his junior year. We sat in an engineering gathering. Dean gets up there. ILL. My son looks at me and I just shook my head. No.
Yeah, we visited Illinois too, Greg. And LBD was not impressed.
Let's see here. Adam P says, I told my kids, sure, you can go to IU, but don't expect me to wear an IU dad shirt. Boiler Fool sounds just like us. He says, one kid at Purdue, second applying. She or her mom doesn't believe I wouldn't wear red. Can go to the school down south, but I'm not wearing red.
Well played.
Correct. That's fine.
It's the right thing to do.
Greg says he moves his daughter in a Nebraska dorm wearing Purdue stuff. Got looks. I didn't care. Of course you didn't. And nor should you. No. That's probably during a period where Purdue was repeatedly beating Nebraska at everything. So that's also fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I think it's a good discussion. I think we're like-minded in this. They're obviously it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing to have a kid that goes and gets a college diploma at a respected institution. But like I said, there's other schools. Greg and others, you guys live out of state, and you're like, okay, I guess this is what we're supposed to do, but you don't have to.
No,
that's all.
No. Here we are saying you can go a different route, and yet we're also saying don't ever wear anyone else's gear. So I guess we're not really saying that. We're saying there's certain ones that you just.
But if you want to buy other gear, go to homefieldapparel.com.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
They got some cool, weird stuff on there. And Anish has been talking about it, and then he puts his money where his mouth is. What's it? Big Beavers, right? Is that what he was?
Something about that. Yeah. Beaver Hunter, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Oregon State one. It's great. Yep. There's the Fighting Taters, Idaho.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones that absolutely I would wear. I have the Kibbie Dome shirt. I do need to get out to Idaho.
We need to make that happen. Yeah. The problem is we're already starting to make plans for many. It sounds like there's lots of things. The future BS docket is kind of filling up.
Yeah.
I don't have that that money.
No.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that. I can't just go on a whim just anywhere I want to go. I can't do that.
Well, that Idaho is also tough to get to. It's one of those places in the country where it's kind of tricky.
It is, but man, I want to go there. I love Big Sky Country. I love it.
Absolutely, like to see a Vandals game, but I also want to see a Boise State game. And the funny thing is Idaho and Boise State are so far. Moscow and Boise are so far apart.
Right.
Hours and hours driving.
It's like all those states where you've got to drive 1 billion hours to get someplace.
Oh. The good thing is Washington State and Idaho, I believe, are like 15 minutes apart. Pullman is right across the border. So
Pullman is from Seattle, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, one of my son was trying to talk me into sometime doing find a Friday and Saturday when they're playing. You're laughing at something. Must be.
I'm laughing at Greg again. He got me. He knows I'm a sucker for new age crap. Manifest the money. Exactly. Make it happen. Just think more positively. And
Joe Ensley and Adam have both corrected us that it's Anisha's Beaver Fever.
It's not Beaver Hunter. Guys. It's not Beaver Hunter. Wow.
Well, I think
Beaver Fever.
That's right. That's what Anish is. Right. Got it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was the confusion. So, yeah. Wow. Brandon kind of really critical about the thumbnail. That's an unusual thing.
Who the hell are people?
Yeah.
They don't look like us.
I don't know. That's us.
We photograph well. I don't know what to tell you.
Pretty sure it's us.
You touch them up a little. You do things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we probably put them through a filter or something, but pretty sure it's us.
There were a couple. So I'm going to let you guys get all the ones I haven't read so far. Is Jay using dial-up tonight?
Yes. He's on net zero, actually. He's using
Jay mostly broadcasting on AM frequency.
I like that one because it doesn't make any sense. I love it.
You guys are funny. That's all I can tell you.
It's funny, great.
Jumping back to our comment about Penn State and who they could upgrade to, Ethan says Penn State alum. I didn't realize this. Matt Rule. Is that even an upgrade?
No.
Probably not.
It's not an upgrade.
Likable, more likable.
Close. Yeah, much more likable.
Much more likable. And then a completely random comment I want to throw up here from Adam. He says, and I don't know the answer to this. Has anyone been to a Northwestern tailgate? I'm going to check out their soccer field in 2 weeks, debating on either a hotel breakfast or tailgate. Well, I think if you go to another campus, no matter what, I think you should check the tailgate out if that's an option, because it's part of the experience. Part of college football is going to the tailgate, isn't it?
I've been to multiple Northwestern tailgates, for the record, but I wasn't there when this screwy stadium thing was happening, so I don't know how that affects everything. It's been a while. It's been a long while. I haven't been up there since Tiller was coaching at Purdue, and I think I went to 3 Northwestern games.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's
undefeated.
Funny? They're playing on that. They're playing on that temporary field, and it somehow feels kind of fitting for Northwestern football. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
And it's
Good
nice
job.
on the lake. It's pretty.
So everybody's like patting him on the head, telling him how great it is too, which I love. This is a really great. By the way, Monday Night Football is absolutely insane right now. So I know you love it when I get distracted.
I think it's
by
great
things.
that you have something on TV, and that's the best way for you to focus.
I'm very good at focusing anyway. So yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there was just a scoop, a fumble scoop, but no, it was an interception in the end zone for a touchdown went all the way back by the Jaguars, and then they just had this one's coming back, a long kickoff for like 60-yard return. So back to back, pretty fun. So Brandon Alexander thinks you look like Steve Carell.
I guess in a thumbnail he means.
Maybe just in person. He got to meet you in person. Maybe that's it. You have kind of a person. You're a funny man.
I am. So. Funny and successful.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon, I don't know if Brandon's the one. So I apologize for this, but
I can tell you which one Brandon is.
Is he the one who he and his wife watched the show together? They're the ones who said that?
I didn't hear that. That's awesome. So he's the one with the magnificent beard. I can say that much. Magnificent.
Oh man, so there was a couple that talked to us at the Southern Illinois game. Southern Illinois, right?
Yeah.
A month ago, and they said we watched it together, and I think they have their kids with them, and I think that's who was at AJ's. But I apologize if I'm mixing you guys up, because again, I'll just remind you that
you look the same to him.
Well, I don't see you all very often, so it's very hard for me to remember who's who. I see you like once or twice, and I recognized. I was like, hey, but it's that's all you're gonna get from my adult brain. I'm telling you, man, it's getting worse. The recall is really not there.
No doubt about it. Not just you. I'm not calling you. I'm saying the recall is.
Yeah.
So.
But
I had a really interesting things. This is a good story. I was walking out of the gym, and a woman says, "Boiler down."
Drop that in there. Way to drop that in there. I was at the gym.
I was just at the gym, getting swole. Those of you who've met me this weekend say, "You've been to the gym?"
And you're swole. Anyway, go on.
So at the gym this week in Fishers, I had a very nice woman say, "You're Boiler Dad," and I said, "Yeah." And then I realized, we went to church together. So she had met me at church, or we had met, I think, one other time. Very nice woman, big. I mean, she's watched or listened or read. I think she goes back a couple of years on the website. Yeah.
Wow.
So
long time.
She's awesome. I don't know if her name's Beth. I'll say that. She's great. So good talking to her in case she's listening, watching. So
everyone's a comedian tonight. Clay Carter says, Jay, frustrated by his mic stand versus the familiar comfort of his old flip phone. Brent says that it sounds like I'm about to sell him some insurance. You guys are great. Now we do have a question. I like this one from Steve Vizano. He says, question going around his friend group recently: what is your favorite directional school and why? I have an answer to this.
Wow.
Okay. Mine is Florida Gulf Coast University.
It's a good one. Is that a directional?
Gulf Coast?
I don't think it's a direction. Mm-mm.
Man, you're gonna knock me down. I was really proud of that answer.
That's a good one. Coast. I mean, it was someplace that I'd like to go to a game there. I don't even know if they have football. They don't, do they?
I don't think they do. I think they're just
basketball.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say. I don't know, but they're in one of my favorite parts of Florida.
Dunk City, right?
Dunk City during the tournament, going to the Elite Eight, I think, as a 15. That was fun. That was fun. So, and
I'm not going to give you credit. Sorry, I'm not giving you credit for that.
I think that deserves some credit.
Directions are north, south, east, west,
or near the Gulf Coast. Over that way.
Direction. That's not a direction.
Well, then I don't. Then I'm not.
That's
sure
like saying Michigan is a directional school.
Or Northwestern, right?
It doesn't count. Northwestern kind of would get. I think you'd get that on a technicality. I don't know where the Northwest. The name doesn't make any sense to me because they're not
middle of the country. It's
right, and they're not in Northwestern Illinois.
Nope.
If they were in Indiana, you could call them Northwestern.
Northwestern Chicago? I don't know.
I mean, if that's the reason they called that school, that's ridiculous.
Well, couldn't
Somebody
it be because?
Knows, I'm sure.
Well, wasn't it because if you go back that far, that was considered the Northwest part of the country? Maybe.
Yeah, that's like what was in Michigan called the Victors of the West in their fight song.
Yeah,
awesome.
Because in 1860, there weren't any universities out any further. There probably were, but
right. But that's hilarious. That shows you how old timey they are. For me, boy, I'll show you. How about University of Southern California? They see I'm getting on
you jackass. That's just as regional as Gulf Coast.
They have Southern in the name. Bite your tongue.
It's not South California.
Southern. I know. That's why I did it, because I thought it'd piss you off, and it worked great. second place for me would probably be Central Florida.
Because you like Scott Frost and it's Central Florida.
I always, it was fun to watch, them win a national championship.
Yeah, man. 2015 national title, I believe, is what it says on their press box. Man, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, we're big Scott Frost guys around here, too. If you just tuning in, you didn't know that about us.
Oh, man.
Go check the archive. We just love that guy.
Alex Chastain asks if Northwestern is referencing the Northwest Territory. Greg McManus says it's Northwest Territory, too. Maybe. Joe Ensley also missed the assignment. He says Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
No, that's as bad as Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah, that's if he is. Good job, Joe. If he's not, you're just wrong. So, yeah.
Joe Ensley says West Virginia.
Because he got me on my own stipulation, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's a fun. Chris Harder has a great point. South Florida is in Tampa. That's awesome.
I know. That's never made sense to me. That's not South Florida in any way.
No, that's great. Yeah. ETSU is a good one. Because it's got a lot of words to it. So, there are multiple directions. You got to find them. Where they have like when you have the Southwest, that sort of thing. That's fun.
Well, Missouri State used to be Southwest Missouri State.
Right. That's a good one. That's good.
Yeah. And now they finally were like, well, who cares where we are in Missouri?
Right. No one cares. No one cares.
Yeah. Someone asks in here if there's a Northeastern. I just wanted to get back to that because yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Northeastern. Motor City asks, and that
make the NCAA tournament in basketball.
Yeah, they're in New England somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly where, but I know they're up there, which sort of makes sense. That is northeastern of the United States. Yeah, that's a good question.
Are you a big University of Southern Indiana guy?
No.
Southern. So yeah, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. It can offend people. It's not. There's no need to be.
There's no need to.
Yeah, I'm a jerk enough without going and seeking out being a jerk. So I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. So, you have anything else you'd like to talk to the good people about?
I don't think so. I think someone made a comment in here. It was Adam again who said, and it's a good point. He says, "Is it some sort of success that the football team has garnered more than a half hour?" This was a while ago. He said this of discussion and no mention of the upcoming basketball season yet. Maybe it shows we're not ready to give up on football just yet. I think that is a very good comment. That is a very good point. I think that people are, or they're listening to you, which is to say to enjoy each season.
Stay present, guys. Stay, guys and girls. It's okay. Stay present.
80-something degrees and beautiful blue skies.
Mercy.
Over the weekend. It was phenomenal. I did not expect an October game, but you never know in Indiana what to expect. October, as you said, is a very good time in Indiana.
It's great. And we're driving around. My wife and I are driving around. Leaves are already changing. I'm like, man, it kind of it's weird because I love it when the leaves start changing. There's just a little chill in the air. But I'm like, it's going to be gone so fast. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say. The funny thing is October is great in Indiana, and then November just right off.
Quick. It's quick.
That IU game starting at 7:30 p.m. on the Friday after Thanksgiving, leaving aside that it may not be the best outcome. Is it going to be cold?
Yeah.
Oh, man. We were there 2 years ago. The last time it was in Ross-Ade when Purdue won, by the way, and came back from, I think, down 10. And I was there with my son.
Phenomenal game. Underrated game. People don't talk about that game.
It was 28-18. I just looked this up, entering the fourth. I believe I have that right.
Yeah.
And Purdue won that game. And I remember how cold it was. We were over in the southeast corner of the stadium because that was the only place you could get rays of sunshine still late in the game. Yeah. And it was one of those where, you just wanted sun on you because it was so cold.
Yeah.
And that was like a 3:30 start. So that 7:30 is going to be. Man, and I'm sort of piling on y'all now because I don't think I'm coming to that one. I was going to, but it's really hard to get out of town on Thanksgiving. That's for marital harmony. It's hard to leave on a holiday.
Yeah, that's real, man. Because there's cleanup. There's all sorts of things you got to do, man.
It's hard for me to get out there, as you alluded to. It's not like I can just drive an hour, so that's going to be tough. But there's also a Purdue basketball game that day. We've talked about this, I believe. The time is not yet released, but I know Anish plans to go to both of those, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If it's possible.
They've got to move the basketball game.
There's no way they're going to
have to.
They can't possibly.
They're simultaneous right now, right?
No, I don't think the time's released for the basketball yet.
Okay.
So I think they're going to. My guess is they'll make it early, like 12-1, because you don't want it to overlap. You don't want like a 4 o'clock and then everybody's there already, and I don't know how that would work logistically.
Yeah. It'll be a fun day, but it's going to be tough logistically. So there's something I marvel at the older I get, and it shows how old I am, I think. So my son is going to come in for Thanksgiving on Wednesday night, normal stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Thanksgiving. Family's coming in. We got like 25 people coming to our house. Okay. Friday, he thought, why not schedule a work shift? So he's working because it's Black Friday. He works retail. He's going to be working from like 7 a.m. till I think 12:30. Why? Because you just got to push that extra shift in there. I don't know why he did it.
Why not? Don't.
And then right after he and I are going to Purdue, watch game, come back. Then he'll drive back on Sunday night.
You know what? I wouldn't discourage him from being
tired.
Being an enterprising, hardworking young man. I wouldn't discourage that.
I know. It just amazes me how many things. Like if you've got a college age person, like high school is one thing, they're doing a lot, but college, they're just nuts.
Yeah.
The amount of things they're doing all the time. I used to do the same thing, but I'm like, man, just hearing the amount of things he's got and he signed up for it makes me tired. Like I'm right now
tired. Well, that's why it's good that he's doing it and you're not anymore.
Exactly. I think that's the beauty of youth. So
yeah.
But you're not aging a bit, by the way, Jay.
No. Only when it comes to fatigue. You like to make fun of me for being tired. Potentially.
I do. You have good reason. So yeah, I will make fun of you though, but you have good reason. So So, well, good show. Well done. Even without a niche, you said we couldn't do it. That's the thing before. You were so nervous. You were crying.
Like, I don't know. When have we ever done this without him?
Exactly. That's the funny thing. Somebody said that, we're not this is not full handsome hour. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second, buddy.
This is OG handsome hour. And somebody in there during this show, I didn't bring it up because I don't want to. Someone in there said, "Oh, I miss you, Anish," which I feel like is a little bit of a jot. It's a little shot.
Every time that I feel that.
That's not accidental. There's a little something behind that.
Right. So, yeah, that's supposed to sting, and it does. That's exactly right.
One thing I've been clear about over the years is you guys are responsible for some of the content here. And if you're not, you ask good questions, Tucker. There were a couple good ones tonight, but we used to get a lot more participation. Maybe I need to prompt you more. Maybe I need to send something out in advance more.
I think if you do the Twitter thing, I think that really does good stuff.
Gotten worse.
What? Twitter's never been bad.
No, it's always
been great.
A bright light.
A bright light in a dark universe. Twitter. That's their tagline. I don't think that's true. That'd be great. That'd be hilarious if they did that because everybody knows it's a cesspool.
But if anyone's going to the Minnesota game, please report back. Please let us know. That is a game both of us would actually like to see a game there.
Yes.
That's another place that's not super easy to get. It's not that it's hard to get to. You can fly directly. Minneapolis is easy to get to. Yeah. But it's a pain in the ass. Who wants to go to Minneapolis? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I like what Brandon Alexander just said. Oops, forgot B-Dowd meant to say our boilers. Yeah, you're right. You don't say we. We don't say we. We're not we guys.
You can say our boilers. You can say that.
Our boilers are good. Yeah. Nobody said, I think we steal the game at Washington. So we don't do that. We don't deserve that credit. That's my point. That's the only reason I say that. I know a lot of people say I give money. I'm a ticket holder. I'm an alum. That's all good stuff. I have a hard time with that.
You can make a better argument.
Yeah.
Here's what I've always said about college sports. If you want to use we and you went there, you've got a little more more standing than to say, I grew up a New York Giants fan. That's watching a pro team is stupid. Like you're not part of it. You are part of Purdue. You are legitimately part of it. So I am far more forgiving, and we slip into it every once in a while. But we also try. You know what I think you and I are? That's the logic side saying I don't deserve credit. They win. I didn't do a damn thing. So I'm not going to take like the SEC people. Like I'm not going to be like that who take credit for an entire conference.
That's the thing. I think we slip to something where we sound like them, and I don't ever want to sound like them. And the perverted thing about them, and I mean the SEC fan who. They say they probably didn't go to Tennessee or wherever they're talking about we.
Most
In
of them
fact,
didn't.
I can think of 2 examples of this. These kids are at Purdue right now. They're friends of my son. I hope they're listening because one of them, he comes on here every now and again. So I hope he's listening. I've been trying to get him to get it through his head. You are a Purdue student. You are a Boilermaker. You may have grown up a Tennessee fan. He has no good reason to root other than his family likes Tennessee. Both of them, actually. And so they're still rooting for Tennessee, and they're both wee guys for Tennessee. And I'm like, come on. Let's move on from this. But the SEC thing kills me because I'm like, there's so many SEC fans that, number one, they'll say we for their favorite team, we, the Tennessee Volunteers, and then at the same time, they'll root for any SEC team. Get out of here with that shit. Sorry, that's just...
They victory lapped national titles by Alabama.
Shut up. Exactly.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
We have never victory lapped a conference national championship. Ever.
Well, we've gotten into this, and I'm sure we will again during basketball season when people are like, you should be rooting for the Big Ten to win in the tournament. Why? Why?
Shouldn't.
Why? If like, then when you go to the Big Ten tournament, are you just like, yay, everybody?
I have 18 shirts that I wear at the Big Ten tournament. I just change them every half hour.
These people who argue that you want Illinois to go far in the tournament. No, I don't. I don't care when people are like, the Big Ten hasn't won a national title since you. Okay, I mean, sure. Right. Is it in the abstract? Would it be great if the Big Ten was always winning national titles? To say it's an even tougher road. It's a tough road.
Let me ask you, people who say that something. I'm going to look at the camera for effect. Let me ask you people who are saying that. I mean, you people, because I would never say this. If you're old enough to remember this, were you happy when IU was winning national championships? Were you saying great for the Big Ten when IU was winning a national championship in basketball?
There were people who made that argument to me about Michigan State and saying Michigan State going to a Final Four. I actually, you don't remember me making fun of people because they said that helps Purdue's recruiting to say you get to play Michigan State. And I was like, do you think Matt Painter goes, once a year, guys, you get to go into the Breslin Center and you can look at those Final Four banners, come to Purdue. Do you think that's a pitch? Don't stop. I understand where your brain is going. I understand that you're saying you're playing better teams, big environments.
You get it, but that is totally.
But that's not reality.
It's not how it works. Real. And you've been dragged around by the media too long if you think that way. That's Absolutely. All that is. Think about it for 5 minutes, and you're going to say, "Wait a second. It's not good when Tom Izzo steals Gary Harris from Purdue. It's not good. It's bad.
Why would you want a rival to succeed? Translate it to pro sports. If you're a Yankees fan and the Boston Red Sox win the World Series, do you say, well, the AL East won?
Yes. My AL East won.
Is the same. That is the same. That is the same. You should root against them.
And
you don't want
by
them.
the way, and baseball gets it. You hate the teams in your division.
Yes.
Hate them.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the way it should be. But then you find a way to love them when they're traded to your team or get signed in a free agency company.
You're rooting for laundry. Exactly.
That's the Seinfeld premise, and he's absolutely correct. So, yeah. So, all right. Well, it's, I got that. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see something. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yes, I agree. It's been great hanging out with you, Jay, and everybody who's here live. Thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful Monday. In spite of, you guys don't know how hard Jay and I fought through our technical difficulties before getting on here. By the way,
well, no, they're having some fun with me though. They're
still bringing it to you. Yeah,
they're a little mean.
Yeah, Boiler Seafried says, totally agree and have always felt this way. Go Purdue, not Big Ten. Exactly.
Right.
That's the right thing.
Right.
So, yeah, but they have given it to you a little bit. My buddy Todd Singer's here, by the way. It's nice to see him. Thanks for being here.
Oh,
Todd.
You got through to Brandon Alexander.
What'd you say?
I had always been a root for the Big Ten guy, and now since Brother Dad said, did you root for IU winning titles? I've completely rethought my life.
That's all we
You got through to someone.
That's if it's one.
They can change one mind at a time.
One mind at a time. It took me 20 years to change one mind.
Well, you got more people to go to AJ's than ever before. So you're changing your minds all the time.
That's true. I think they see me and they say, that guy looks like he knows something about food.
He looks well fed. Where does he go? He goes to AJ's.
So I believe him.
If you look at us, you're going to trust us on food.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Yeah. Thanks
All
to
right.
AJ's. Thanks to Home Field. Thanks to Jay Money for being the best damn co-host, co-founder you can have in all the land. And thanks to Anish, who's here in spirit. I love you guys. Good night.